Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. A very warm welcome on a very hot day in Islamabad. Temperatures are soaring throughout Pakistan, but we are feeling some cool breeze coming from Middle East, and that is that Iran and United States seem to have reached an agreement whereby the cessation of hostilities will be continued, and a lasting peace perhaps is just round the corner. However, there are conflicting views coming both from Washington and Tehran about the contents of the MOU, which is being discussed between the two sides. In the morning, Mr. Trump indicated that he was going to sign a deal with Iran, which had almost been finalized. And the deal is likely to be signed on Sunday, day after tomorrow, in Geneva. Vice President J.D. Vance has already been indicated as the signatory from the United States side, and Mr. Bakir Kalibov will be traveling to Geneva to sign the deed. Now, there has been a lot of back and forth during this period. We have seen many a times that Mr. Trump, he announced quite confidently that a deal was going to be signed between the two adversaries, but somehow it could not materialize into a document which had to be signed. Now, this time it is being felt that most of the impediments that were preventing a conclusion of an MOU between the two sides have been overcome, and the two sides have now reached some kind of modus vivendi, whereby they will be giving and taking something from each other. It was also being bruited about that Iran perhaps was going to gain more from the latest text of the MOU, and United States was settling for very little. But Mr. Trump suddenly, he also emerged once again on the social media, and he refuted the claims that that United States was on the losing side. Anyways, if at all this document is signed, it will be a harbinger for a lasting peace in the Middle East, we hope. But keeping in view that the two sides have quite a large deficit of trust between them, we do not really know whether this agreement will be abided by both the sides, or we will see another round of conflagration in the Middle East. To discuss the prospects of peace in the Middle East, particularly on this document, I have my colleagues, Ambassador Asif Durrani and Iran-U.S. They are with me. Welcome to Ambassador's Lounge. Well, I would like to have your views about this possibly would-be signed document on Sunday.
It is too good to be true, what we are hearing in the news. And given President Trump's track record, one is always skeptical whether to believe it or not. Mm-hmm. But I think some value addition has taken place from the Iranian side, that they have also given some signals that yes, there have been some meeting of minds. Mm-hmm. Now, and then they are also optimistic about reaching a deal, but they are cautiously optimistic. Mm-hmm. This has not been the case earlier. So in earlier cases, they simply denied that nothing has happened. But at the same time, the fly in the ointment is Netanyahu. Israel's spokesperson has said that we will not be bound by whatever takes place. It's said that it is either Sunday or Monday that they are going to come up with some agreement. But the question is, as you rightly pointed out, that the trust level is so low that even at the last moment, something can happen. And that is, you can say, giving goosebumps to whosoever has ever hazarded into discussing this issue. And then it has been, in fact, embarrassing for all analysts that what is happening. And but the good thing is that oil prices have come down.
Sure.
So that is the positive sign, that shows that perhaps something they want to take this dialogue somewhere, and perhaps
And stocks are also going up,
some kind of peace will come about. So this is what I can say at the moment.
Okay, Imran, your take?
Asif's beginning sentence was very good. It's too good to be true.
Too good to be true, okay.
See, first of all, let's see. Mr. Trump's last statement on his Truth in Social Media. He says that Iranians are, to the extent they are dishonest people, and it's fake news which they are spreading.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what he said. So basically what I see is that the differences between the two sides are enormous. And there are no indications that there is some sort of a compromise between the two sides as far as their main points or core issues are concerned. Now, having said that, any deal which gives Iran the benefit, like for instance, they said $23 billion of frozen assets will be released. I find it difficult to understand that, because Mr. Trump was very critical of Barack Obama, JCPOA, that he agreed to give $1.345 billion to the Iranians.
Yeah.
And Mr. Trump has been criticizing that. Now, giving them $23 billion, which is many more, it's a larger amount.
It's a big concession.
It's a big concession. And I don't think Mr. Trump is ready for that. And that would surely be not taken lightly by the American media, and particularly those politicians within the U.S. who have been critical of this thing. For instance, this gentleman, Mr. Graham, what's his name?
Lindsey Graham.
Lindsey Graham. Very close to Donald Trump.
Oh yeah,
right?
he's
been very critical
almost,
of.
Yeah.
But he has been saying that no, we cannot give such a concession to the Iranians. So whereas it would be nice to see an agreement between the two sides, with the two sides coming together, but I still have my doubts. The Iranians have not given any time frame. I have not seen that. Everything is coming out from Mr. Trump when he says that the two sides are going to sign. And by the way, this is the 36th or 37th time that he has said that we are very close to a deal, and we are going to be signing. And it would be a great deal for the U.S.
Yeah.
Any deal which is great for the US would definitely not be great for the Iranians. Iranians know that they have an advantage, they know they have an edge, they have a leverage, and by God, Ayaz, knowing Iranians, Asif knows them very well, they are not going to yield. Ball is in their court, they know how to play, and they are going to make life tough for Mr. Trump. Mr. Trump is desperate, and Iranians definitely know that Mr. Trump is definite. He's looking for a deal. He's looking for a quick deal. His popularity is going down. Around 30%. He wants a deal, man. He wants a deal. He wants to come out of this quagmire. Right. He curses anyone and everyone who pushed him into this thing.
But he'll have to chew his own words, Asif. When he was very critical of JCPOA, that it was a bad deal, he didn't address, many other things like stockpile of rockets, etc., missiles, and some other things. Now, when he is settling for something which seems to be lopsided, where it seems, that on the things that are being bruited about in media, that Iranians are perhaps going to get more concessions than what they are giving to Mr. Trump. Do you think that Mr. Trump will be in a position to really present this agreement as a victory to its own population, and what will be his political blowback for him?
I think he'll do that. He's a maverick, and these kind of gimmickries, he's quite expert in it. the word that Iran will not go for nuclear weapons is enough for him. And he'll sell it as a best deal because Obama had allowed enrichment of uranium to 3.67%.
To some extent, yeah, of course. Yeah, okay.
Here, the word enrichment is not coming. Here, the word is coming that Iran will not pursue nuclear weapons route.
Which they already avowed long time ago.
But here you can see the intellectual Mr. Trump is. So, and then amazing thing is that whether his advisor Witkoff or his son-in-law Kushner, they are nobodies as far as nuclear issues are concerned.
They are not experts.
They
yes,
don't
of course.
understand this. So if they enjoy his years, and if he goes by the years, so this is what you have in the deal. And but at the same time, I think Iranian position is clear. Drawn from the JCPOA, they have not given much as far as that is concerned. But the gain for Iran would be one, removal of sanctions on Iranian oil exports. And both secondary and primary sanctions which United States had imposed. Secondary means that to the third countries they cannot do business, and primary, which the American-related sanctions are concerned. And then you have these frozen assets, as Imran said. If they unfreeze it, it is Iran's gain. And at the same time, there is a talk of a reconstruction. And they are talking about the contracts West is going to get worth
Certainly
$300 billion.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So I think dollar signs would be, shining in everyone's eyes, right from Trump down to other people.
I'll come back
Just
to
a second. Asif raised a very important thing. He said that Mr. Kushner and Witkoff, they are nobodies. Actually, they are nobodies as far as
they do not know how diplomatic negotiations are
nuclear
held,
thing
of
is
course,
concerned.
yeah.
But having said that, Asif, we all know, and we have served in the Foreign Service Office, we all know that negotiations is a highly technical job. It's a professional thing. You need professionals to it. You just can't have a property dealer and no one to enter into negotiations. And that negotiations which involve a lot of things, which involve peace and stability in the region, which involves nuclear things. You need to have specialists on that. Look here, Iran has Mr. Abbas Araghchi. He was part of the team, Asif, am I right, which negotiated the earlier deal. So they have a history. They have, there is a continuity as far as the nuclear policy is concerned, as far as the nuclear negotiations is concerned. Here, out of nowhere, you put in two Johnnies who don't know anything. I mean, leave aside nuclear thing. They don't know anything about how to conduct negotiations. Their State Department is out of it. It's only these two people. Sometimes they are going to Lebanon, sometimes they are going to Ukraine, sometimes they are going to Russia, and they are negotiating this nuclear deal. Well,
which is very technical, of course.
They are not professional negotiators.
Okay, Imran, but I read a news item which said that Mr. Witkoff was taken to East Tennessee, Oak Ridge, where they have a large nuclear lab where he met, about 100 nuclear specialists who are being prepared for possible future negotiations with Iran, if and when the negotiations do take place between them. And Mr. Witkoff certainly will be leading them, but it will be the technical experts who will be doing the main business there. Anyways, let's take a step back, gentlemen, and let's talk about Lebanon. Iran had placed most of its bets on situation in Lebanon. In whatever deal which is going to take place between Iran and United States, it has been made mandatory that peace should prevail in Lebanon, and Israel would eschew attacking Lebanon, and some kind of uneasy peace is prevailing there. How do you see that since Mr. Netanyahu has been kept out of the loop during this whole process of negotiations, do you think that he will play a spoiler? Well, he is known as a spoiler in chief as such, in any settlement in the Middle East, peaceful settlement in the Middle East, particularly as far as Palestinians are concerned. So how do you look at this situation? How do you see the role of Israeli leadership, particularly Mr. Netanyahu?
Me?
Oh, Mr. Asif, anyone?
Okay. I think Iran is not going to leave Lebanon because there is a symbiotic relationship. In fact, Shiaism traveled from Lebanon to Iran historically, and there have been linkages. And this is what, and even now, even when Israel attacked southern Lebanon and the Shia population, they are resisting. Hezbollah is still resisting.
Oh, yeah.
And then Iran issued a warning to northern Israeli people to vacate it. Otherwise, then there'll be a lot of bloodbath. And President Trump intervened, and he told Netanyahu to back off. Much to the chagrin of the gentleman, but at the same time, Israel knows it well, that Iran is not going to leave Lebanon alone, especially the Hezbollah. And it is actually Hezbollah which has, in fact, along with Hamas, they have kept the pot boiling, and Israelis have been kept in checks. Otherwise, their salami tactics would have sliced the entire Lebanon by now, and also West Bank and Gaza. But there have been some, checks as far as the Israeli expansionism is concerned. And more importantly, Iran would not want to close the Hezbollah chapter, because this is a trump card in the Iranian hands. They will keep Israel under pressure if Israel does not play by the book, or whatever solution which has been reached, or about the two-state solution which has been propounded by the Islamic countries and also the Arab countries. So in this scenario, Lebanon and America, in fact, they have been talking of peace in Lebanon and telling the Israelis to back off. Let's see. Netanyahu has been a spoiler, and the latest statement from their spokesperson, as I said earlier, they said that they are not bound by whatever agreement is going to be reached between U.S. and Iran. So those possibilities are there, and I think, yes, it can be sabotaged.
Your take on this?
He's right. Mr. Trump and Mr. Benjamin Netanyahu, they do not want Lebanon, they do not want Hezbollah to be part of the agreement or the MOU which they are finalizing, which they are discussing, which they are talking about. They don't want this. They want Lebanon to be aside. Mr. Netanyahu desperately wants that, and this is what has brought differences between Mr. Benjamin Netanyahu and Donald Trump. Donald Trump initially did want, in fact, I think Mr. Trump still wants that these two issues should be separated. But it is the Iranian pressure and Iranian reluctance. And you see, Iran, as Asif said, Iran cannot abandon Hezbollah. It has invested heavily in Hezbollah.
Certainly,
it is it is a close
main
ally.
Proxy, yeah.
It is his main proxy, if you want to use this word proxy. But it is an ally of Iran. So Mr. Trump and Mr. Benjamin Netanyahu are now at odds. Mr. Benjamin Netanyahu fears that and rightly so, he fears that he is being left outside this agreement. He is not part of the agreement. And as Asif said, that he has clearly said that this agreement or this MOU will not be a binding on Israel. You see, Israel or Mr. Benjamin Netanyahu wants that this crisis should continue.
To his own advantage,
to his
of
own
course.
advantage. You see, he sees that this is the right time in which to pressurize Iran, weaken Iran, destabilize Iran, fragmentize Iran, because Iran is at its weakest. The regime is at its weakest. If they destroy the infrastructure, if they destroy the oil infrastructure, energy infrastructure, electricity, etc., water sanitation, as they did last
Water
time.
desalination plants.
Exactly.
Yes, yeah.
If they destroy that, Iran would definitely become weakened. And if this MOU is signed, if there is another 60 days extension, if peace is signed, what would happen? Iran would develop its missile program further. Iran would collude with will cooperate with Russia, with China to develop its abilities. It has already a lot of abilities. You just see Iran took the initiative. It attacked Israel. This is for many, and this is for me. It's a very different thing. Iran has set a deterrence that, look here, if you attack Hezbollah, if you attack Beirut, we are going to attack you back. It has seen that. And even the Americans have seen that how Iranians will attack if their red line is crossed. So what is happening now is that Donald Trump and Mr. Netanyahu are being pulled apart because of their opposing desires. Mr. Trump wants an
immediate
deal.
Opening of Strait of Hormuz.
Yeah, he wants an immediate deal so that he can go to his people. He can tell them that, look here, we have achieved this thing. I have achieved what I told you. And he wants to have a legacy in which he says that, I have done what no other president has done. But Mr. Netanyahu does not want that. And I think the differences between the two will grow with the passage of time.
Well, there are serious indications within the populace in the United States as well as the congressmen, where the popularity of Mr. Netanyahu, particularly, and Israel as a whole, has certainly gone down considerably. And there is debate going on whether United States should rearm Israel or not. So, because Israel has not been playing the ball the way United States wanted it to do.
The most important thing is that what you see now in the US is that there is a growing majority of people who believe that we or the Americans should not give so much to
their tax money to Israel. Yes, certainly. Yes, of course. Yeah. Okay. Gentlemen, one important aspect is that Iran has certainly shown it has tenaciously held its ground against formidable foes, both United States and Israel. Now, once the dust settles, certainly there's going to be serious implications for the ruling regime, which has gotten more tough, which has gotten more resilient, which has gotten more bold, I would say. Now, there are serious economic consequences of this war. The population was already suffering from crippling sanctions, them. It is being now debated that United States policies of imposing sanctions on Iran was highly flawed, because it was in this process for the last 47 or 50 years or so, United States was not punishing the regime which had avowed, to obliterate Israel or declared United States as the arch enemy. It was the public which was suffering from them. Now, how do you see that once the peace has returned to the region, Iran is very much there. How do you think that the Gulf countries will look at Israel? Will they be going forward and perhaps normalizing relations with Iran, or Iran will be seen as much more terror, I would say, as a formidable force threatening the peace and security of Gulf states? How do you look at the situation?
Well, as you have raised so many important questions, it's but one thing is clear, that Iran would be under dire straits economically, It would be a day after scenario that if war ends, hopefully it will end soon. So already the inflation rate is 70%.
Yeah.
Unemployment rate is around 65%. And the death and destruction, you have seen the destruction is estimated at $300 billion.
Yeah.
It's not going to come by immediately. And secondly,
Sure.
the reconstruction would
It's a
not
long drawn
happen
process. Yeah, of course.
anytime soon. It will take somewhere from 5 years to 10 years. So these are the timelines you are looking at about the things coming back to normal. It's not the progress of Iran in future, but bringing the country to normalcy. So these are big challenges, and still Israeli threat would be there because there is no rapprochement between Iran and Israel. And then the tensions with the Gulf states, where Iran had hit the American bases, are very much there. So it would be a matter of trust between Iran and the Gulf states, and how Iran assuages their concerns, how addresses raises their trust. That would be a big task for the Iranian leadership. And similarly, at the global level, again, Iran will have to do a lot of explanations. Many things would have to be explained in terms of human rights, in terms of political right. Right to freedom,
Enfranchisement of the population. Yeah,
right
of course.
to freedom, right to choose. Those are and freedom of expression. These are very much there. And then there are people who are waiting to be executed. Those are big issues, and they are in hundreds. So this is very much there. And then you have an opposition. Of course, it is not in the country physically, but opposition sitting outside. So and then these Americans and others, they encourage those opposition groups to take over. It has not happened. It has not happened, and it's not going to happen anytime soon. But at the same time, the opposition is very much there. Of course, they are not as organized, or as they have not consolidated their act and position to lead the country in future. And then in any case, that scenario would again be not peaceful. One can anticipate a lot of violence if that change takes place. Even if Americans support that group of people, or Israelis or others, that is not going to happen. And for the Gulf states, Iran was the one which deposed a monarchy in the country. Yeah. And Gulf monarchies would always look at Iran with suspicion. Irrespective that they may have rapprochement, they may have some political adjustment with each other. Still, they are monarchs. And for them, their stability of their regime, their survival is important. And for that, they can even shake hand with the devil. So this Abraham's Accord was part of it, that they did. So what happened? It's just the UAE and Bahrain. And that 7th October incident of Hamas, in fact, derailed the process. Otherwise, Saudis were in an advanced stage of negotiating the Abraham Accords and others. Even Pakistan has been under pressure to do the same. Even President Trump had talked about and invited the countries, including Pakistan, to join the Abraham Accords. So these are the challenges very much there. And I think we have to be very cautious, even from Pakistan's point of view, that war can break out in the region anytime, because already seeds of war have been sown.
Yeah.
And after Iran-Iraq war, you see that this is I think the major conflagration which took place in the region, and in which United States was involved.
Yeah, the superpower.
Israel was involved.
Yes, yeah, absolutely, yes, yeah.
So Israelis, their atrocities against Palestinians has been continuing. But at the state-to-state level, this kind of bloodbath and destruction has not taken place, but what we are witnessing at the moment. So we are not out of woods.
Imran?
I agree with what Asif said. First of all, you see, as far as internal situation is concerned, after the war, that has been the resilience of this administration or the regime will be tested, because it is at that point when the people will say, okay, we want food, okay, these things are beyond our reach. They would want something. They would want their economy to be more systemized. They would want things to be better for them, for their daily life. They have withstood the onslaught of the Americans and of the Israelis, but then they would want things to get better for them. I do not think the regime would be able to immediately fulfill the demands of the people or fulfill the aspirations of the people. They would want the people to sacrifice more for the stability of the regime. I don't think the people will be prepared for that.
Do that, yes, yeah.
Of course, there's a limit to it. And then I ask me, an important thing is that this regime will have to sell this agreement, whatever it is, to the people. Now, if we go by what Mr. Trump is saying about the MOU, that it is all in favor of the Americans, in that case, the regime will look very weak when it comes to their own people. But if it is what the regime is saying, what the mullahs are saying about this agreement, well, then it means that money will start flowing. We must understand, what the regime needs at the moment is money. They need money to come in. They need money for the reconstruction. They need money to improve their economic situation. Certainly. Having said that, we must also understand that the present dispensation which we have in Tehran, it is more ideological. It is more hardline than their former one also there, but they are more hardlined. And I don't see any indication that the strength of the regime, force-wise, has any procedures are there. The IRGC is equally still strong. So I don't see any weakening on that aspect. So I think they will be able to control. It would be very difficult, even if, as Asif said, there is opposition. Even if there is opposition, I don't think there is any. I don't see any indication that even after the war, this regime would be weak, fragile, and it would fail to overcome the resistance of the people. As far as the region is concerned, yes, the regional countries need to understand that Iran is there, it was there, and it is going to stay there. And after this war, if anyone thinks that Iran will not work to improve its defense capabilities and offense capabilities, Iran knows it's not going to get aeroplane jets or everything. It knows it's not going to get nuclear. So it is going to develop its missile technology. So it will strengthen.
It's asymmetrical capability, yes. As they say.
It will develop its missile capabilities. Therefore, the regional countries need to understand that Iran is there. They have to work with, even if they have suspicions, if they are concerned about Iran's bombing of them or whatever, Iran is going to be there, and they need to develop modus operandi, or modus vivendi, as you would say, with Iran. So, and Israel is always going to be a threat. And I think now the Middle East countries realize that Israel is going to be a serious issue for them. Israel at no point would become a friend. It would remain a hegemon. And so the type of architecture which Israel was expecting to shape the region, I don't think that
it's going to come up. Yeah,
I don't think it's going to come up. Abraham Accords, as Asif was mentioning, it is there, but I think it has lost its.
If I may interject a bit, I think that if we call normalization, with Israel as far as Gulf countries are concerned, I think everything hinges on the settlement of the Palestinian issue, because this is one thing which is holding so many Gulf countries from extending their hands towards Israel. We have seen the blowback, as far as UAE is concerned, that UAE fell out of the fold of Gulf countries, as such, and is a lonely wolf right now. I don't know how they are going to pursue their foreign policy. It is up to of course, their leaders. Their wisdom must be tested, in a short while. But you see, I think that two premises failed miserably as far as my take is concerned. One is that Gulf countries who invested heavily in United States security umbrella, they were disappointed. United States did not come to their rescue when Iran was sending its missiles and drones to different countries. Two, the establishment of diplomatic relations by some Gulf countries, particularly Saudi Arabia, with the help of China, also did not work out, because Iran did opt to attack the countries with which it had fairly good relations, particularly Oman and Qatar, I would say. Now, how do you think that United States is going to stay as the main security guarantor in the region? Will it reshape the security architecture in the Middle East? And how Iran fits into this whole puzzle, I would say?
You see, as you were talking about Palestine issue, in Israel, across the board, there is a general consensus that Israel should annex West Bank, that Gaza should be taken over. Right? There is a general agreement, and Mr. Benjamin Netanyahu has to follow that. His parties, his allies, Ben Gvir, Smotrich, all these small ultra right-wing parties,
yes, absolutely,
they want him to do that, and they want him to go further. In fact, Mr. Smotrich went ahead and said that we should say no to Trump when it comes to expanding the settlements in West Bank and taking over Gaza. And the next Prime Minister aspirant, most probably Naftali Bennett, he is considered moderate. But as far as the Palestinian issue is concerned, we will not find any politician.
There
is a general consensus. So I think we should be. There is a. It's a disappointing thing to say, but there's not much hope on achieving a two-nation solution to the Palestinian issue. And the worst thing is the Americans have support. Americans support that thing. Even if the Americans were not supporting, I think Israelis are agreeing to the fact that there should be no two-state solution.
I think we should make an exception here that Mr. Trump is particularly, more in favor of Israeli viewpoint as far as Palestinians are concerned.
The former American president,
Mr. Biden or
Mr.
Obama,
Biden was
or even previous presidents.
After the initial progress which was made, I don't think there is any U.S. president or anyone who has agreed that there should be a two-state solution.
All right. Asif, would you like to add something to it?
Well, as Imran has said it, and very comprehensively. But with regard to these American bases, Iran hit those bases. Those became enemy territories. So here, if the Gulf states thought that those bases are going to protect them, that has proven wrong. And that they have to reconsider.
So is there going to be a recalibration, rethinking within the Gulf countries?
Because there's a talk of new security architecture, which also questions the presence of American bases. Secondly, it is talking about, like, already Pakistan and Saudi Arabia are into a strategic partnership. And it needs to be expanded to include Turkey, possibly Egypt. And at some stage, if the trust is restored between the Gulf states and Iran, so Iran. So this is something. It is still in the on the drawing board, but I think already there are discussions on these issues. Whether it happens or not, there could be spoilers also. I always expect that. But the lesson learned from this war is that you have to fight your own war.
Absolutely. Yes,
Others are not going to protect you.
Okay.
You see, there is always a recalibration when after such upheaval. But here, Israel, as we discussed earlier, also Israel would always need an enemy to survive. It's in the DNA. They must have an. Now look at what Mr. Erdogan has just said. That is Syria and Lebanon. He has said these are areas where if Israel continues to attack, it continues to advance, would be a direct threat even to Turkey. So yes, there would be a recalibration, and it's not something which people want. It is something which they have to do it. Otherwise, the threat which Israel poses, with the threat which people like Benjamin Netanyahu pose, that is serious for the peace and stability in the region.
Wonderful. Well, thank you, gentlemen. We have to conclude here because of the paucity of time here, because we cannot really prolong this program beyond this. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the whole world is twiddling their fingers. You know, everybody is waiting whether Sunday will be a day where the whole world will hear the good news they have been waiting for the last so many months. Particularly opening of Strait of Hormuz, which is the lifeline for so many countries, particularly in South Asia and Asia, where the flow of oil and fertilizers, to these countries is very vital for their survival. Some bystanders, countries which had nothing to do with this conflict, they are suffering unnecessarily because of the closure of Strait of Hormuz. And I think once it is reopened, everybody is going to pull a deep sigh of relief. I hope it materializes. I hope that the two countries sign the peace deal, and they move forward on the track for further peace negotiations on other files, particularly sticking points like enrichment of uranium, stockpile of missiles, rockets, etc. Can be taken care of subsequently. But right now, we are all waiting for the opening of the Strait of Hormuz and some kind of peace prevailing in the region, which has been evading it for the last so many months. Thank you very much. Please stay with us. We will continue to take stock of the situation as it unfolds, and we will be with you till then. Thank you very much, and goodbye.